Happy New Year! It is 2019, and I'm so glad that you guys are here. I hope you had a great Christmas, a great time with your friends and your family, and I hope you are excited about starting a new year here at Kids Life. I know that I am. And something that we get to do, because it's a new year, is start a new series. That's right, this week we are starting a new series called Growing Up. And we are going to be learning about how in Jesus' life, what that time was like in between him being born, like we celebrate in Christmas, and then when he is a full-grown adult doing ministry, doing all these miracles, teaching people, and all sorts of things. There's actually a little bit of time in between there. And the Bible gives us a couple stories about what that is like. And it's kind of funny to think about Jesus being a kid, right? Like, he was a kid once, just like you are, just like I was. He was a toddler who had stinky diapers. He was a kid who went to school and studied his scriptures. He was a teenager. I don't know if they had baseball, probably not, but he might have been on one of those teams. He was a kid, and he had to learn and grow just like you do. But one thing that was true about Jesus right from the very, very beginning of his life was that he was amazing. Have you guys ever seen anything that really amazed you? Have you been out to the Grand Canyon, or just been to the beach and looked at the ocean, or been to somewhere where there are really, really tall, cool buildings, and maybe you just kind of sat back and saw whatever that thing was and you were amazed. It kind of takes your breath away and you just want to stop and just stare at it and soak it all in. I remember probably the most recent time I can think of that I went and saw a movie in the movie theaters. It was Avengers Infinity War. And no spoilers, don't worry, but I got to the end of the movie and all this crazy stuff had happened. There were all kinds of superheroes coming from every single movie. It was really, really cool. And the movie ended and I just sat there and I just stared at the screen. Kind of like that. Have you guys ever had a moment like that? Maybe it's from a movie or a show or some sort of thing like that where it gets done and you just like sit there not knowing what happened and just like thinking, wow, that was awesome. And another part of that is that you want to go around and tell everyone. Like, I was so excited for all my friends who'd seen it to talk about what had happened, what we think's going to happen next, what could be happening in the next movie that comes out. It's this really, really exciting thing to see something that is awesome or amazing. And in the story we're going to learn about today, we're going to see how Jesus was amazing even as a baby. So when Jesus was 8 days old, his parents took him to the temple to have him dedicated. And this was kind of a custom that they would do back in that time, where they would bring an 8-day-old baby and have him dedicated to the Lord. And it's kind of like how we do baby dedications here, where your parents might get in front of the church and you would be there as a little baby, and the church would be saying that we're going to like raise you with your parents, and the parents are saying we want our baby to be raised in this church and for all of you guys to love them and care for them and look out after them. And that's kind of what was happening here. So Jesus is at this temple being dedicated when all of a sudden this man comes up, this old man, and his name is Simeon. Simeon was really old at this time, but when he was younger, God had actually made a promise to him, and God had told Simeon that he would see the Messiah before he dies. The Messiah being the one who would save the world. And Simeon, as Jesus is there at the temple, Simeon approaches him and he comes up to Mary and Joseph and takes them out of their arms. Probably not like snatch him, but he came and he held Jesus and he looked at this little baby boy and he said, I can die now. I have seen the Messiah. God has fulfilled his promise to me. And he said this would be a man who brings in the Gentiles and who brings glory to the Jews and brings salvation to everyone. He would be the Messiah, the one to save us all. And he kind of jumped up and down, maybe did a little dance, and he was so excited. He had to tell everyone about it. And for Simeon, this was amazing, to be holding this Messiah in his arms. And I can picture Simeon just standing there looking at this little baby, just with awe in his eyes, just staring at this child, knowing not exactly what he would do, but knowing who he was right now, that he is God's son, and he was going to be the one to save us all. And right at that moment, right as he got done saying those things and dancing around, being excited, this woman comes up, and her name was Anna. And Anna was also a very old woman, and in fact, she was a widow. The Bible tells us that when she was younger, she was married, but she was only married for 7 years before her husband died. And then she spent the rest of her life as a widow, and now she's 89 years old, and she spends every single day and every single night in the temple, worshiping, praying, and fasting, and she was a prophet, so she would hear God speak, and she would tell people what God was saying, and they would hear her and listen to her and believe what she had to say. And she walks up to Simeon holding this baby, and she also recognized that Jesus was amazing. And she saw him, and she just immediately thanked God for being able to see him, and started telling anyone who would listen about how amazing and awesome this little tiny 8-day-old baby was. I don't know if you guys have ever held an 8-day-old baby before, but they're pretty small and they don't really do much. They kind of just cry, sleep, eat, poop, all those sorts of things, but that's about it. That they don't talk, they don't dance, they don't do anything cool. They're just little tiny babies. And while they're cute and they're fun to look at, you wouldn't normally call them amazing. And you wouldn't normally tell everyone, look at this baby, it is the most amazing baby. Maybe some parents do that, but I don't know. Anyway, she went and she told everyone about this amazing baby. And this response that she had to Jesus is one that you and I can still have today, to see Jesus and know that he's amazing. And the really cool thing here is, she didn't think he was amazing because of some miracle he had done, or because of some great lesson he had taught, but she knew that Jesus was amazing just because of who he is, that he is God's son, and he is God with us to be here with us. Now, I hope you guys never feel this way, but there are a lot of people who think that going to church is boring, and they think that reading their Bible and talking about God is boring or a chore. They think it's just some list of rules or just some instruction manual that we're supposed to read to figure out life. But that is so sad, because when we are reading the Bible, when we're here at church, we are experiencing the living God, and we are experiencing Jesus, and that should be amazing. That should excite us. That should be something that we really look forward to doing every single day, because it's not just words on a page, but it's God's word, and it's Jesus speaking directly to us, speaking directly to you. And I really hope that as we go forward and we learn about the way and the words and the works of Jesus, that it begins to excite you guys, that it's something that you look forward to doing, to learning about, to talking about, and it's something that amazes you continually, that as we enter his presence, that we would be amazed at just how good God is. So you guys are going to talk about that a little bit in your huddles now, and I will see you later. Bye.